Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining me today. My name is Brad Jackson. I'm a business development manager with Cyberscience, and today I will be covering CSD and SX.e data discovery using Cyberquery. A little bit about myself. I am a business development manager, again, with 25 years with Cyberscience, just under 30 years working in the business intelligence industry. I've held both technical and account management roles, even supporting business intelligence against the Infor LN, formerly known as Bond product, in the late 1990s. Joining me today to help with the Q&A is Jeff Dabbert. He's a solution architect with Cyberscience. He's been with the company around 20 years as well and has a lot of experience supporting the Infor products with Cyberquery. Cyberscience Corporation, we are coming up on 50 years of business. We are very excited about that. We've always maintained a high focus on development. The staff is very experienced, not just Jeff and myself. We average over 20 years working with BI, and that's the trainers, support, development, as well as account management and sales. And then, again, 2 decades experience working with Infor products. So a lot of different applications we work with the Sightline, CSI, M3, LN, as mentioned before. So on the bottom right corner, you'll see the NSA Plus logo as well. We are partners with NSA. The agenda I want to cover today is why Cyberquery? What are some of the updates that we put in over the last year? And then a customer use case, I'll jump into that. And then a round of Q&A, followed by a brief demonstration of Cyberquery. Then a talk about our 30-day free test drive, followed by one final round of Q&A. Why Cyberquery? We've always wanted to connect and have been connecting to native databases in Cyberquery. So the reason is to get real-time access to that data. And whether that be a database or a data warehouse, so data lake, Infor ETL, or data pond, doesn't matter to us. We can access that data. As cloud databases have been come onto the scene, we've had to find different ways to get access to that data. And the faster we can do it, is the best way to go because we want to give you fast decision making. The expertise with Cyberquery and the Cyberscience team, as mentioned, we are familiar with the data structures of the CSD, SX.e apps. So when you're contacting us for support or consulting, it's not brand new to us. Ease of use. Hopefully you can see when I get into the demonstration bit, you'll see that there's a really easy interface for developing ad hoc reports. Large data sets. I mentioned trillions and trillions of rows here, but what happens with Cyberquery is we read the database until it's done. So it's not limited to trillions, it's until you're done with your database. So we will bring back all that information. You won't have the limitations that you've seen with other spreadsheets or other database or BI tools. Flexibility and power, that's the number one thing I want you guys to come away with. And that is the data analysis and the automation we can do around that, ad hoc reporting, scheduling capabilities, as well as extract, transform, load. A lot of what I'm going to be talking about in the next couple slides focuses on what we can do with extract, transform, load, because we're doing it all within Cyberquery. And then, of course, Cyberquery is your tool you can use to write reports. What were we doing before we made some of our recent changes? To get access to SX.e, that's not listed on this slide, but we would connect directly to the Progress database, which we can do now, and that is a read-only real-time access. When CSD came on the scene, we were informed, go ahead and hit the data lake. So we were going up and loading what we call our query database files. Those are proprietary data files that Cyberquery has that are optimized for fast report writing. And we loaded those solely through the data lake. As we got further along with customers and some of the medium to larger size customers, we discovered that there could be potential compute time charges if you were using too much processing up against that data lake. And in addition, we were seeing occasional delays when trying to retrieve the data from the Compass API. So we came up with a way, the idea was, how do we increase value? How do we continue to get you fast access to your data? And still, you can go ahead and connect on all the different ways. Nothing's changed there. But in addition to doing a bulk load from the data lake, which we can schedule out over several days to avoid that compute time limitation, we will work with you to help set up ND-JSON extracts out of CSD and then use those extract files for incremental updates. When doing this, we are seeing 8 times faster updates into the data lake, allowing for sub-hourly updates. So when you provide us with a set of tables that you want to have more real-time access to, we set those up to refresh in a more timely manner. It's causing minimal impact on the data lake server, and it's also saving money by not having that compute time. In addition, we can add support for querying deleted records if you want to for record auditing. Here's a case study that I want to provide with you. It's Stacy Pike. She's been using the product for about 5 years now, and she's a BI analyst there. And this is the quote she gave us within about 3 months of using Cyberquery. She said, without a doubt, she loves Cyberquery. It was easy to pick up, and she could easily create quick ad hoc reports. I asked her, well, why'd you choose us? And she said that former ad hoc tools, they were gone. They were being sunset. The support wasn't there anymore. She loved that ad hoc functionality within Cyberquery. Again, powerful and flexible. And the fact that we've worked with SX.e for so long, and the CSD dictionary is very similar, the database is, that we have a mature data dictionary that includes table relationships. So you don't have to always create those links on the fly because it's built into the dictionary to start with. Same day access to custom tables. In the past, she would maybe send that off to someone. It would take days, weeks, whatever to figure that out. In Cyberquery, you can get that loaded in that same day. And last but not least, it's the professional services again and how we can help them when needed. I asked, what report did you decide to tackle with Cyberquery? You know, you got this new tool at your fingertips. How do you want to use it? They were using the other product, as I had mentioned, and it took them a little over a couple days to aggregate and develop month-end reports. They went through and worked with our consulting team, and they were able to automate that down to less than 30 minutes every single month. Not only are those reports run, but they are also distributed automatically to those decision makers. In addition, they added some parameter-driven reports to help with different departmental users. Jeff, this is our quick first round after most of the PowerPoint. Is there any questions that's come up?
Brad, we had one. It asked, how does the Cyberquery solution compare to Burst?
Okay, that's a great question I hear all the time. My understanding with Burst is it does a really great job of providing a lot of canned reports and canned dashboards. Cyberquery is more, I'd say, free-flowing, and that you can get the information that you want if it's outside of that content that's provided. So really great at the ad hoc reports, the operational reports. So when you have unique questions to your data, Cyberquery can get at it and do it outside of the Infor data as well. So doing that in real time or near real time is a huge plus to people. In addition, we can do the complex reports too, whether that's financial statements, really difficult operational reports, we can do it all. Anything else pop up, Jeff?
So far, that's the only question that came up.
Thanks, Jeff. I'm going to jump into the demo part real quick. With Cyberquery, it includes its own web server, and you'll see that there's a browser login to the product. And in this window, you are seeing that I have access to CSD. If we had Cyberquery configured on your system up against Salesforce, you might see a separate section below here that says Cyberquery reporting for Salesforce. If we had loaded the metadata from both Salesforce and CSD, you might see a third section here that says reporting for CSD and Salesforce. So even though I'm showing you an example up against one application today, which is CSD, it can truly report across many different databases underlying those applications in your organization. And within that, there's security wrapped around this entire thing, not only to which applications you can report against, but also to which modules of Cyberquery you might have access to. For example, the Cyberquery HTML module is how you can create a new query or modify an existing query to produce those reports and dashboards. Launchpad is a way to then share that content of reports, dashboards with your end users or your organization. Some people might only have Launchpad. You don't want them touching the developer. Just go out, run your reports, put some parameters in. There you go. Dictionary Manager is more for that DBA type level, someone who's going to help manage that metadata. QDirector is a job scheduling tool. So it's a way to push information out to users. Launchpad allows them more of a self-service. QDirector says, we're going to set up jobs that might send reports out to people, and it's in their email waiting for them. Probably a good time to mention Cyberquery has a macro language as well. So where you might be familiar with the process of exporting data to Excel and other data into Excel, trying to aggregate all that data together, and you're spending hours or days every week. With the macro language, you can have sets of queries that run in Cyberquery, schedule that to run sequentially. And what it does is it programmatically goes through each step. And then the last bit is, we'll view the report or email it to someone. So it really allows you to save a lot of time monthly, and it will quickly pay for itself if you're having to do a lot of data manipulation like that. CQ Publish, it's a way to publish those reports to Launchpad that I'm going to show you here in a bit. And that command line, you'd only want to provide that to a sysadmin type level. If I pull up Launchpad, actually having a different tab here, you'll see there's a nice little front end to Launchpad, and this is just a generic front end I'm showing with the webinar. By all means, you could have your corporate logo on this screen and have a nice look and feel that's unique to your organization. Also within here, you have separate areas or directories with pictures to pretty it up to go into for your reports, but I'm going to jump into work in progress for my example. It's listing a bunch of reports here on the left side that have been published into Launchpad for users to run as they want. And then you'll see on the commands here, all the different running guys. There are other commands not showing, such as clone. You can clone a report. It pulls it into the developer to modify that query to have a copy of if you want to have someone, if you want the ability to modify that query. So again, you have to have access to the developer to be able to clone that report, but it's a nice way to kind of work with a published report here in Launchpad and modify it. There's also a subscription command. That subscription command allows you to say, well, send this report to me every week, every month, send it to me in a PDF, Excel, whatever format you want. So lots of options. I'm just going to show a handful of reports here today because of our time. First, I'm going to show the job tracking material shipped report. Click that running guide, goes out. This report happens to have several parameters on it. There's some defaults that are put in here, but I want to go ahead and choose all for my customer number here instead of 101. That's how easy you can do it. Just click run. It's going to run out and do that job tracking report for me real quick. You can export this report if you want, different formats, email it, jump to different sections within that 77-page report, print, etc. Let me show you a graphical representation of a report in Cyberquery. So it's not just numerical. You can do graphs. And this one happens to have the ability to work within the graph and make it interactive. So for example, let's say for this price by state, I only want to see a couple states. I just choose Colorado, Illinois. That's all it's going to show. If I want as well, I can go through and start filtering out the different quarters and so forth, select all. Anytime, come back, choose anything here in the middle, and my price by state is going to come and choose them all. So ways to add what filters you want on those reports, whether it's numerical graph, whatever, gives you lots of options, okay? If I want a dashboard, here's a quick, very basic dashboard that was created I want to show you. This goes out and it runs multiple reports. And so the reports can be numerical or they can be graphical as well. And it happens to be doing a 80% of revenue, comparing a couple years over top 20 customers comparison and then top 10 product lines. What you'll see within this top report in this dashboard are hyperlinks. Not only can you have a single hyperlink that will drill into other data, It can drill down, it can drill across, it can drill up, whatever you like. You can have a hyperlink menu to choose many things to drill down from this data. You can put links on the headings, on the titles, whatever you want. We're wanting to give you the ability to go look at your information quickly, easily, how you want it for yourself. If I click on this drill down, this happens to go into an Excel file. I pull that Excel file up, and it just happens to be an output that I chose for this type of report. So there you go. It drilled into that, displayed it in Excel for me. I'm going to exit out of here, come back. Let me show you one last report within Launchpad. This just shows a quick additional functionality in the tool. You're seeing some more of these hyperlinks, but it's a nice way if you want to have an expandable, collapsible type report. You can just come in here and, for example, click on this and hide it at any time. So again, showing you easy reports, but you can definitely do those complex reports too if you want. I have a limited data set right now. I'm going to go back over here and show the developer now. So when I come into Cyberquery HTML, I'm going to create a brand new report. There are 3 different ways to create graphical reports using graphical editors. And then we also have a language editor in the background that's getting written as you're doing the graphical drag and drop, point and click. Right now, it's asking me, well, what type of report do I want to create? But before I jump into that, I want to mention something here at the bottom we've added in the last few years, the little dotted box, rectangle box at the bottom where it says drag and drop a file. We're always trying to find ways to give people more access to their data and analyze it quickly. If you happen to have an Excel CSV file or other types of files like this on your local server or local machine that you want to drag into here, it will pop up a wizard, and then you can walk through a few steps and use Cyberquery up against that file. Whereas in the past, you had to do that against data that only existed on the server, commonly in a database. Now you have that ability to do it on local files as well. Moving forward here, it says, what type of report do I want? Do I want a list report? Do I want a summary report, which is like a pivot table? A plot, of course, that's just a graphical representation. And then labels, or do I want to work with an existing query? I'm going to choose some report for today, and I'm going to show you a few different examples. As you can see, these are all the CSD tables and also their CSD names. We have added a viewpoint functionality several years ago, and you can have a viewpoint that will either, for example, make it end user friendly. You could change a different language if you want for the names of the fields. Or you could have viewpoints such as like financial viewpoints. But if someone's a brand new user to CSD and they want more user-friendly English-like names, that's how easy it is to switch. And you can switch at any time within the report developer when I go into it. So someone knows the new names, great. Switch to someone that wants to help out and knows the native names, switch it right back on the fly. It makes it really easy to work back and forth with those. Go back to my native. I'm guessing we have a lot of people who know the actual database names here. And it's saying, well, where are most of the fields at? What table do I want to start out with? Well, I'm going to do order entry line table. I'm going to choose that as my main table to start out with. Next. And let's just summarize the units. That's a reserved word for what's the number of transactions or records within that table. And let me do it by the enter date field. So I'm going to bring the enter date field over here, click finish, and it quickly goes and creates a report up against all of those transactions for those dates. When I do a summary, we always give high level first. So we're going to give you the year and then you can change from there. And I'll show you how you can do that. So if I want to go and let's say look at this by quarter as well, I can just quickly do insert a copy, item properties here, go into sort, change it from year to quarter, click OK. It's that easy. When I put that quarter up on the across section, I can just drag it here in the across section. And it puts the quarters up there in the across section. So now I'm seeing the number of transactions in my order entry line table by year and by quarter. I don't want to see it by quarter anymore, but I also don't want to recreate that thing. So we have what's called a parking lot. You can drag a field into the parking lot. And it's smart enough, as you can see down there, it says it's in a cross section and it's by quarter for that table and that field. Anytime if I want to unpark that field, I can unpark it, puts it right back on the report for me, or I can just drag it over there if I want. If I want some quick visualization at this level, there's options like, well, give me a bullet chart percentage. There you go, pretty quick and easy. My favorite button, undo, goes right back to where you were before. It's unlimited undo, unlimited redo. As I mentioned, these tables are connected at our dictionary level. So let's say I want to go and grab the invoice number from the order entry header table. Well, that's not too hard. You find the invoice number, you drag it over there to the buy section. There you go. It knows there's multiple entry line transactions for each invoice. So that's why it broke it out like that. It knows it's a many to one relationship. You want some subtotals here, right click subtotals, and there you go. Anytime you can put this thing right into Excel if you want, or you can say, well, I want this report to always go into Excel. So I'm going to choose report properties, click OK. Now, if I run this, goes out, puts it into Excel for me. And you'll see, in addition to throwing the data out there for me, those subtotal and the report total formulas go out there for you as well. So it makes it nice and easy to work with it. Now, keep in mind, once you push that data out, if you save that Excel file, then of course that's static. You will have to refresh it. We have other ways to link Excel into Cyberquery if you always want a hot link back between the two. What happened when I said output that to Excel? Well, this is what happened. It added that Excel switch there, XLS switch, which I don't want. I'm going to take that out for now. But this is your language editor. Look at all these different options. There's all kinds of things you can do in functionality in Cyberquery. But this is what the language editor is in the background. It's saying viewpoints native, summarize my units table. I commented out in my parking lot that across field, and I'm doing a by a couple tables. Very simple ad hoc report that gets saved at any time you choose by doing file save inquiry or query as. That will save that dynamic code. If I wanted to pretty up this report, I could apply formatting to the headings, different fonts, different colors. I can put borders on this report, logos on this report, really make it have a nice professional look. That's a format file. And then if you save the report, that says, well, save it right now statically. I don't want this data to every change on this report so I can refer back to it, okay? Again, query is the dynamic, and then the report, of course, is static. Let's go back to my report editor here. So in addition to being able to report against that entire database structure, as you just saw, we include a data mart within Cyberquery, which flattens out a bunch of fields across multiple tables. And by all means, we can teach you how to do this yourself or do it for you as well. But you can create whatever data marts you want if you want to further simplify that data structure for end users. So in this example, I'm going to choose our sales data mart, choose next, and let's summarize that extended revenue. And let's summarize that by state, click finish. Quickly, I got an extended revenue by state report. Something stands out to me right now. Why do we have 0 states in here? Well, that's because someone didn't enter the data, right? I would encourage you, if you utilize this product, create exception reports very quickly, because it's easy to find errors in data, right? You can go through and create rules for data entry, or that rule might just be enter the data, and then send those records or information back to the user that entered the data the next day so they can go and enter the data correctly. Because no matter what, we're only going to pull out and show you the data that's put in. So in this example, I'm going to show you how to, let's just go ahead and hide that. So let's not select the blank data. But in my example, I notice there's no country field over here. Now we could create a country field and make it like a calculated field or a derived field of sorts to where based off of states, it's a certain country. But I'm going to show you how to do it in the fly within the product. I'm going to choose the different Canadian states there. And I'm going to create a category here. And let's just call this Canada. And instantly it puts that into a Canada category. I can drag the state back over if I want to see it broken out again, but let's hide the Canadian ones for now and just focus on the US. If I ever want to put this into a graph, you choose the graph button, put it right in here, and instantly changes it into a graph. Pops up our little charting wizard. So you can do line charts, horizontal bars, all kinds of fun with the charting tool, right? I'm going to come back to summary report. Let's say I want to do some ranking here. Let's just see the top 10. I can just click right here in the states. Let's do an item properties, ranking. How about choose that, maximum 10. Suppress the other, click OK. There you go. Quick, easy report there. Now, I want to drill into this information. And if those tables are connected at the dictionary, like when I was showing earlier in the webinar, you can drill that way as well. Or you can drill into a data mart like this. I choose my drill tool. Let's look at Colorado and look at some more detail. It knows what I drilled into before, so it's remembering, but you can start by just dragging a field from the left over here to the right. But show me the order numbers here, right? Are there multiple products within here? Nope, happens to just be hand tools. There are multiple, it would show it. Again, it's showing my where clause, it's showing what the value, the measure, which is extended revenue. You can do multiple values on here, not just one. And you can quickly see what's happening within this report on the left side with your content on the right and your results. That's all I'm going to cover today in our quick webinar, but there's a lot that goes into this product. Trust me, that can be shown, and I can do that in a follow-up demonstration for you guys. Let me get back to the webinar, or the PowerPoint slide. The test drive. With the test drive, it is a 30-day free evaluation. We will install the software, get it connected up into SX.e or CSD for you, and then allow you to have access to create reports against that. In addition, we load that data dictionary, and we will build some reports for you. So we want you to feel comfortable after those 30 days, unless you've canceled in an email. The subscription begins at day 31. So in addition to that, we do require a week of training because we want to get you exposure to developing some of those basic to mid-level reports. And then if you want to take Cyberquery even further, you can get a second week of advanced training. Jeff, any other questions before we wrap things up?
We have one. How long does it take to implement Cyberquery?
Oh, thanks, Jeff. That's a great question. With the SX.e product, that usually takes just a few hours because we install Cyberquery, we load that data dictionary, and you're connected to Progress, read-only, real-time, right away, real quick. When we get into that CSD application and having to set up the query database file loads, that initial bulk load up against the data lake, and of course the incremental updates against whatever ND.json file extracts that are set up, that can take a couple days depending. But the configuration's probably under 8 hours, but the process of doing the initial large load and stuff can take a little bit of time to run. So it is still very quick to get access to that data so you can start reporting against it. Anything else pop up?
That's all for now.
Hey, thank you, Jeff.
My pleasure.
So next steps, please do reach out to me. You can schedule a more detailed discussion, demonstration. We can talk more about what is really unique to your organization to see if we can help out. I'm excited that this new change that we put in to get you faster access to the data. It's as close as we can see to getting to real time. And please don't hesitate to reach out, guys. And thank you again for joining us today. There's my contact information. I'll leave up for a couple more seconds and appreciate you guys all joining me.